For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode 90 of That's a Shame. Special in the sense that we're not being recorded by the worst app ever to exist. It's Ringer! Woo! Don't buy their subpar product.
It's also a special episode because before I've even been introduced, I'm leaving.
Oh, see you later.
See you later.
Where are you off to?
Don't you worry.
Okay, well, I'm Isaac, and joining me, at least he was a minute ago, it's Declan. I don't know where he's gone. I expected something to do with his chair. But trust me when I say, at the very least, even if we bring you no content of note this week, which, let me tell you, we're going to be doing, no, or we're not going to be doing, whichever one is the good
Look,
one.
I'm back.
I thought it was a chair. Will at least be improved by being in the same room, having an audio connection above one by a year, and generally sounding like we're from the modern age rather than the Stoneman times.
Yeah. I am hoping that, you did put a little edit in, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping that was a lesson in hubris for you.
Uh-huh. How so?
Well, because you were all like, oh, Declan's going to sound like dog shit, but don't you worry. I'm here with my £150 mic, with my hangover setup and my big computer with my 2 screens. So don't you worry, I'll be coming to you crystal clear
screens.
all the way through the night. And then 1 second later, you're like, hello.
I'm trapped down a well. That sounded like someone's memory of I used to have this, I still have it actually somewhere, a tape measure that was given to me by my sort of surrogate grandfather, and you could record audio on it, a feature that I'm never quite sure.
Probably so you could say
be like
record
50,
measurements,
50 metres, 2 metres and a half of a bit, that sort of thing. But why did it need, it allowed you to record it up to 5 minutes at a time.
A tape measure that was made in that really odd gap in history where mobile audio recording technology and immediate playback existed, but
not in a phone.
But inches didn't.
Yeah.
And you had to measure in bits and a half.
It was crazy, actually, yeah. So I've got one of those, and I kept it and kept the battery on for ages, because after Jim, this guy, died, there were some recordings of him talking that I thought were really nice. So I used to listen to them, and as the battery wore down, and there was no way of getting them off other than recording them elsewhere.
Yeah.
It would be it didn't do that thing of, how tape players used to slow down. So it'd be like, hello. It didn't do that. It just became further and further away. So it sounded like he was first of all, he was at the end of the corridor, and then the next week or something, he'd be off in a ship. It's me! So yeah, I think we had that kind of quality. And you're right, there was a certain, it's not hubris though, it's just the expectation was that the app Ringer, RINGR, don't buy it, don't even interface with it, okay? We've done that so you don't have to. My expectation was, you know how all these apps work, I'm here and I'm hosting it, it should just record my audio locally. It filtered my fucking audio up to whatever Neil Armstrong used to get that
I think it filtered
speech
it
back from
through
the moon.
me.
Yeah, and then right back about
And I
8
was
times.
recording it through the ends of one of those can on a strings that you use as a kid instead of a walkie-talkie or something.
Such nonsense. When I started listening back to it, there's a point where it's okay, and then there's a point where it just stops. And I had to, as I told you, sit there and manually edit up the volume at the end of every sentence, because it was like it didn't care about the last word in any of our things, which is a shame, because often that's where the punchline lives.
Yeah. Also, though, if you hadn't done that, it might have been quite a cool sort of parlour game where people get to add in the last word of
Mad
their
Libs,
choice. Yeah.
But with no mechanism for feedback.
No.
And obviously it only exists in your own head.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Where some of the
marketable.
best games do.
Yeah, exactly. But here we are.
Hell of a show.
I said that while you were gone.
Did you?
I said it was going to be really good, but then I sort of undermined it by accident. But I'm bringing it back now to agree with you that it's going to be one of the great shows there's ever been. I had I won't call it a nightmare last night, but a dream. I was having sort of a weird, fragments of dreams going on rather than one.
Yeah.
Normally when I dream or when I remember it, it's one really
continuous narrative.
continuous piece that's been going on either for a while previously, or it's the start of a new one, or it's a standalone. But last night I woke up at 3 a.m. fully clothed on my girlfriend's bed, where we'd both just fallen asleep. And I was like, oh, this is weird. And I checked my phone, which, as I told you, has got this new... Oh, there's a cool feature in iOS 11.4, guys. I don't know if you've experienced it. It's called I think it's probably Steve Jobs' way of trying to keep you not, engrossed in mobiles and
Called No Fucking Battery?
Yeah, it's it's not that there's it's that it's how fast do you want us to drain your battery? And apparently,
I see.
I went through the update quite quickly, but I must have accidentally ticked very, very fast indeed. Because whenever I look for more than a minute away from the phone, it's fucking dead. So I'd had it on 100%, been asleep for maybe 3 hours, woke up, and it was dead. So I kind of assumed maybe a month had elapsed. I had to check my beard to be like if I'd Tom Hanks and Castaway'd myself, like that Alien story that we've told before of Carl Pilkington's. So I woke up very confused and then kind of came back home, which is not very far for those who don't live with us, which is, I understand, is most of you.
Yeah.
For now. And came back and went to sleep. And because I'd kind of interrupted it, I had a very disturbed sleep after that, where it was like I kept kind of waking up to weird noises and weird dreams. And the only one I remember is a dream in which I just woke up in bed at a normal time and, checked my phone, as you do first thing in the morning when 11.4 hasn't drained the fuck out of it. And we had an email on our That's a Shame account, a TAS email, because they come up with a little orange star. So I gave it a click. The subject line was "uh-oh!" exclamation mark, and it said, I can't remember verbatim, but basically it was something along the lines of "hello," full stop, which worried me already.
Oh no.
I've been a patron of yours for 3 years, so in my dream state, that didn't register as being not making sense.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, standards have slipped. And I was like, oh fuck, who have we offended? And basically the email just was like listing all the ways in which we failed not only to uphold our patron goals, but as as broadcasters, as people. And then it was signed off by someone called Xanadu22. Who at the time I was like, in my dream state, I was like, fuck yeah, that's, he's a super con. We get all the Xanadu contents out the window now. We fucked that one.
Fucking hell.
So I did check. I only remembered it. I remembered it as I woke up, but then kind of forgot about it after I'd checked. Oh no, I didn't check then. But then a few hours ago, while I was on my phone, I was like, was that a real email? Do I remember getting this
Xanadu
thing?
really
And I had a
disappointed.
I looked not only in the inbox, but also in like the deleted to see if I'd
spam.
just been like, oh God, just kick that away, pretend it didn't happen. So clearly subconsciously feeling a lot of guilt about our output of late. How about you?
No, we have been falling. The mythical Xanadu 22, definitely a manifestation of your own guilt there. Freud having an absolute field
He's
day.
just loving it.
So yeah, we have got to start climbing back up on that horse, because what's more embarrassing than the fact that we just haven't been able to do all of the regular content was that we did also very boldly announce when we moved back to 2 a week, they would be easier for us not only to do that, but to do the extra content. And we haven't actually, with much consistency, achieved either. We've done well on, for the most part, on the normal episodes.
Yeah, this has been a bit of a weird time as well, because it's like starting to be summer, so people are trying to do social things all the time.
Yeah, and I like
work stuff's been
exam,
weird. Of course, exam
season at the moment, so I'm all over the place.
But yeah, maybe we should pencil in some time. We can get my Google Assistant to do it for us.
Hey Google,
Yep, Google said.
remind me to do That's a Shame stuff.
No, I think Google just gave up listening to you.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, it's because it only knows my voice. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Google only likes me. But I'll set a reminder and we'll take an hour to sort of
All right.
re-establish ourselves. Maybe we should go to a group meditation sort of thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, just to refocus. You're right.
Absolutely not.
Okay, I'll look into that and see what we can do.
Today I went to see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Is there any punctuation in that title at some point?
No.
Jurassic World Fallen, Kingdom.
No, it's just Jurassic World in the normal logo,
Yeah.
and then underneath somewhere Fallen Kingdom.
Subtitle Fallen Kingdom.
I don't think it was supposed to be like a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of thing.
Couple of questions off the bat.
Okay.
Jurassic Park. Now, I didn't see the previous of the reboots.
The Jurassic Worlds.
Yeah, I didn't see that. So have they kind of retconned that the park was just like phase one, and now we've got a whole world?
No, basically that they just revamped the park
And called it
and
World.
called it World.
Oh, okay.
And it was kind of hugely more technologically advanced.
What
They
was
had
their
these weird, like,
stance on how the
gyros
parkour
things.
fucked up though? That didn't bother them too
No,
much.
they were like, it's actually fine now because we've got better control,
They learn from their
better
mistakes.
systems.
That's
They've
fair
got guys in training.
Oh, all
some
the time.
Dinosaurs.
Did they add any more electric fences? Because I
Loads.
remember that being an issue.
Lots of electric
Previously.
fences.
That's good.
Lots of big metal fences, that sort of thing.
Dragons hate them.
You wouldn't believe it. They'd only gone and built a whole new dinosaur that
What?
didn't
A
ever
custom
actually
dino?
exist. Yeah.
Why? That's not a draw.
Because, no, but this is the thing. Like, in this universe, the park had been around again for a few years. People bored.
Really, what? There's
Stegosaurus.
So in this world, there's a place called Jurassic Park, then world, that for some reason can't sustain a client base despite having resurrected probably the most popular creature of all time
Yeah.
amongst like the
Yeah, but
under
remember that the
12s.
audience is more limited because you have got to go all the way out to this island near Costa
I just went
Rica.
all the way to Disney World. They've got no dinosaurs apart from on the ride Dinosaur.
But they did have those avatars.
Yeah,
They
but-
weren't there last time you went.
No, but what I'm saying is,
And not everyone would have gone back.
if
Not everyone
Chessington
did.
World of Adventures can sustain an income with having shut down Professor Burp's Bubble Works, later renamed, which I found out the other day, Imperial Leather Bubble Works. How sad is that? It was just sponsored by a
tragic.
soap company, and they took out all the fun fizzy drink shit, like the cola coaster.
And it's just an advert for shower gel.
yeah, at the end they just wash you.
To be fair, it probably costs an awful lot more to maintain an island full of dinosaurs than rides, which I can tell you pretty much maintain themselves.
Oh, I don't know about that though. There's a lot of infrastructure at a theme park, isn't there?
Yeah, but
well, at a good
yeah,
one
but,
at
yeah,
least.
but at this one you've got all of that plus you have all these live animals.
Yeah. Chessington's got a zoo.
Yeah, but zoos they're all quite disappointing.
Mostly.
You don't pay thousands of pounds to go to
Do you have
the
to pay
zoo.
thousands to go to the Jurassic World?
Oh, probably, yeah.
It's pricey then.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's
a
the theme
kind
of the first one.
Is there a?
They've made it cheaper, but they've they're having to bring in more people because of that.
Is there a particular keeper in the Jurassic World who you can pay off to let you, poach, go out hunting dragons?
No, but hold that thought.
Okay, will do.
So yeah, in the first one, it's that they've built this new one and it's fucking mental.
Yeah, well, it sounds it.
It's called what's it called? The Indomitus Rex.
It's not.
It is.
Indomitus Rex.
Yeah. And
That's
it's like
so
it's like a bit
shit.
of everything, really.
That's like the unobtainium of the Jurassic
Yeah.
universe.
Well, don't worry, it gets
Good.
better.
No.
It's basically like a mix of all sorts.
So it's like when a kid's like, it's going to have the wings of a...
Not quite.
An angel, a face of a lion.
Looks like a cross between a T-Rex and a raptor,
Right.
but that's because it is.
Right, that's not...
essentially.
Well, so it's smaller than a T-Rex?
No.
Right.
It's
but
the
it's just got
size,
some of
but
the
it's got some
physicality of a
features.
raptor.
Yeah.
Has it got the brains of the raptor?
Yes. No,
That was
that's
an
the
error.
danger.
That was
That's
a
the
big
danger,
error
you
because
see.
they're the most scary
And it
ones.
fucks up the park.
Yeah, well, I brought that upon themselves in a big way.
But then, anyway, in this second one, that island they're all on, Ila Nublar,
Okay.
it's exploding.
No.
It's a long dormant volcano, and now it's not dormant.
Checked. They should have been on top of that.
It's fucking shit up. And there's a big,
That's such a
there's a big like battle going on in the Senate about, well, do we bother saving dinosaurs? Do they get the same treatment as other endangered
That
species?
is an interesting philosophical question.
Or do we just let them die? And they went, we're going to let them die.
Okay.
So
That's kind of satirising the current state of the EPA, isn't it?
It is, you
It's pretty
see.
clever.
So the theme of this one is they've got to like try and save the dinosaurs.
Right.
But then it turns out the people who were saving them were only going and getting them to flog them.
No.
Yeah,
Wow,
to-
this has got a lot to say, this film. It's
Yeah,
like the
to,
ivory
like-
trade now.
To people who wanted to hunt them.
So you just sell them a dinosaur and then they just let it run off. They're like, right, here it is.
Yeah.
Open the cage. It runs away. You just...
Yeah. But you'll never guess what they've done as well.
What?
They've gone and made another dinosaur
Oh,
that's a cross between that last one
Indomito Rexy.
and a raptor. So now they've shifted the balance.
So it's like 2/3
towards
raptor.
the raptor, so it's even more intelligent, and they've put some fucking odd features in it.
Like
to
what?
make it a weapon.
Bluetooth.
Essentially,
Really? What, you can wirelessly network with this
you
dinosaur?
can control it
From an app?
sort of. No, from a gun. you
What?
you use the laser on the gun
Right.
to like show it a target, and
Like
then
a
you
cat.
and then you've got like an audio frequency on the gun, and it sends it berserk for this fucking target.
Wow.
Anyway, this thing's fucking mental. Like, it's nuts.
And now, how clever are we talking? Because I don't
It's
know.
very clever.
Like doing crosswords,
No.
language.
As in, it can figure out systems.
Yeah.
It can, like...
What, like an engineer?
Yeah,
It's
basically.
in charge of British
It can
gas.
open doors. It can follow you.
It can follow you is not that clever.
No, but it follows you in ways that, you know, like an animal will follow you from A to B.
Yeah.
But this thing will go, like, round the outside to get you.
Okay.
It sort of sees the projection.
Now, where does this idea that the raptor was so clever come from? Is it factual?
Yeah, well, like,
How do we know
broadly,
that?
Not like they weren't opening doors, but you know,
There weren't any doors to
so
open.
we
It's
can't
not for want
judge
of
them on
trying.
that.
Imagine how
But they
sad
were-
you'd be if you knew as a species, like, God, we could be opening something. I
They
just
were,
don't know what it is.
They were very intelligent,
Right.
and they did hunt in packs, but they were a lot smaller than they are in the films.
Are they like little mice?
They're like this.
Oh, that's
They're
so
like
sweet.
2 or 3 feet
Like a little
tall.
dog.
Yeah,
Oh, that's quite nice.
but anyway, I bring it up mainly.
Because it was film of the year. For
It's hilarious as hell.
a straight 5-star.
But this, I never told you, this new dinosaur, this new dinosaur,
Yeah.
because it's a cross between the Indominus Rex and a raptor. This one, they've just decided to call it the Indoraptor.
The Indoraptor.
Yeah.
Right, like an Indochina
Yeah,
reference. I wonder if they thought about that at all.
probably not.
No worries.
Anyway, it's in this cage
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of a room, and everyone's had to run away because a
Well, you'd have
smaller, more hilarious dinosaur
Voiced by Eddie
got
Murphy.
loose, voiceless.
Oh. Had the mannerisms.
It had the
did the
character
mocap.
of Donkey.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
He's fucking gone mental in this room, and
can
everyone's
believe it.
run away. Anyway, some hunter bloke comes in and he sees this dinosaur. He's like, "Wow, you weren't on the island."
Mm.
And he'd earlier been collecting a tooth from all the dinosaurs for his collection.
Oh, what a pervert. Like that Jeepers Creepers freak.
Yeah. So he like shoots this dinosaur full of tranquilizers. It passes out.
It wasn't faking it, was it?
Well, first of all, it was.
Oh,
But he
that is smart.
But the bit just before you find that out is that he's like, dinosaur collapses. And this guy goes up and he opens the latch on the cage to go and get in and get his tooth. And as he opened the latch on the cage, some 4-year-old child 3 rows behind me went, "You've got to be joking."
Wow, damning indictment of the film's internal logic by a child. If you were in a test screening for a film you were involved with and it started being heckled by preschoolers,
Kindergarten.
I would just quietly leave and pretend I had nothing to do
Kid
with
was an absolute hero.
So funny. What a cynical little child. How many like films has he seen that he's just been disappointed by, that he's started to pick apart tropes?
I know.
The amount of media you have to consume by the age of 4 to understand like what cliche means. He must watch like the Gruffalo's Child and be like, "Oh, you fucking Gruffalo. This is just the
There
same
ain't no
bullshit again.
Gruffalos.
That mouse is a fucking liar."
You're falling for it again.
Goodness. Well, I won't be seeing that film, so it's good because you've caught me up, and I feel like I didn't feel like I had to already, but now I feel like even less of an obligation to waste my time.
No, it was very poor.
Who's in it even?
It was hilarious. Chris Pratt
Is he?
and Bryce Dallas Howard.
Is she? That's a shame. Yeah. I guess they're being paid a lot though. So
There were loads of people in it. Toby Jones was in it.
wow.
Rafe
Was he playing a
Spall.
scientist of some sort?
No, he's playing an evil auctioneer.
Evil. Casting against type there for.
Rafe Spall was in it. Is it James Cromwell?
No.
Who's in like everything, but also nothing. He's the guy who plays that dead hologram scientist in iRobot.
Okay.
Him.
Yeah, that's exactly what it says on his IMDb.
Yeah.
Oh my god, James, the dead hologram scientist. Come and sign my back. Well,
Yeah,
that's
there were
lovely.
all sorts of fucking... Yeah, you're like, wow.
All sorts of people involved in a project.
Jeff Goldblum was back
Of course.
for a cameo.
in between his jazz album.
Who, at the end, like, no, this is no joke, does look up to camera and say, "Welcome to Jurassic World."
No,
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
Why?
Spoiler.
Was he late?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, spoiler for anyone who is going to see it.
Uh-huh.
They release loads of the dinosaurs into the wild in the US.
Wow, that seems like a very, very poor decision.
It was that or let them all die in this one room of hydrogen
That
cyanide.
one,
poisoning.
rather than
But they
disrupt
let
the
them out.
entire ecosystem of North
It was
America.
great though. It's a great decision.
Fucking mental. Is there any discussion about the possible consequences of that?
Do you want to know why it happens?
Yeah, I do.
Well, okay. Well, skip forward a few minutes now if you are planning to go and see it. There was a little girl involved,
Uh-huh.
and it was the most unnecessary shoehorning in of a plot point that could easily have been eschewed. But she was the granddaughter,
Of the dinosaur.
wink,
Uh-huh.
of the old man who worked with John Hammond, the guy
Okay.
from the first
Richard
film.
Attenborough.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God rest his soul, you forgot to
Exactly.
say. Do you want to just...
God rest his soul.
Yeah, good.
And they were supposed to be like helping all the dinosaurs now. But there was something a bit mysterious.
I didn't realise that dinosaur wrangling was like a family trade, though.
Oh yeah.
Like it gets passed down all the
well, no,
stories
because
and-
they were the genetics guys.
Oh, and that is genetic, fittingly.
Yeah.
So it's in your genes that you're going to become a geneticist.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know
So-
it worked like that.
So this little girl, she didn't have a mum.
Mm-hmm.
She'd been raised by like the housekeeper.
Okay.
And this James Cromwell character, Lockwood, his name was,
Mm-hmm.
had this like photo album that no one else had ever seen,
Oh, yeah.
with
Loved
pictures of her mum in it.
Weird.
And she was like, "Oh, did I look like her?" And he's like, "Oh,
You
yeah."
are her.
And he's like,
Stop.
and he's
What
like,
was that look?
and he's like, "Oh yeah, you didn't."
No,
She's like,
is she a clone?
Yep.
No!
As everyone
Why?
knew from minute one.
Why?
Well, what I love most is that they set it up as like, this is what drove you and Hammond apart. Like, you did go too far. But you're like, but this character was invented for this film.
You
they weren't
fucking
in
dolly the
any
sheep
of the
to
others.
yourself, kid.
Yeah. So
Weird.
his daughter died, and so he brought her back.
Wow, I mean, that's
Because
a lot of plot.
because before they reveal that like fully, before they reveal it fully, there's like the old man is killed.
Uh-huh.
And
That's what it says in the script direction.
in italics.
The old man is killed! Exclamation mark.
And Rafe Spall's character is like, calls in the maid and he's like, "Oh well, I suppose you'll be looking for work elsewhere now then." Like in a
Being
kind
sensitive.
of fuck off
Yeah.
sort of way. And she's like, "Oh no, like the girl needs me." And he's like, "It's fine. I'll look after her now." And she's like, "No, I raised her. I raised both of them." And you're like, "Oh, what do you mean intrigue? Of course,
like a
we
soap
all
opera.
already know."
That 4-year-old kid just walked out at this
Yeah.
point. He was done.
But then,
Uh-huh.
fast forward a bit, she finds out that she's this clone.
Uh-huh. Now, how does she take that news?
Well, she doesn't have a lot of time to process it.
Yeah.
Because she's being chased by the Indoraptor.
That's fair. Yeah.
Anyway, they kind of managed to kill the Indoraptor.
Good.
That's out the way. But all the dinosaurs they've been trying to save, they're locked in the containment facility downstairs. There's been a leak of this hydrogen cyanide gas.
No.
They're all dying.
Oh, they're all getting cyanided.
And they
Into the
they can
grave.
see it in this window.
That's what killed them the
Bryce
first time.
Dallas
wasn't it?
Howard, she's like, "Oh God, like I'm going to do it." And there's this big emergency like door
Big
open
red
button
thing.
to open the doors. And she's like,
Fuck it!
and she goes, "No, I can't. I can't."
She couldn't bring herself to do it.
No.
She didn't have the guts.
They're standing there watching them.
Listening to the musical notes of dinosaur death. That's the cave show from Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
1, guys.
and then suddenly
The
the doors start opening. They turn round. There's this little girl. She's hit the button, and she's
No.
like, "They're like me."
In what way?
'Cause they're
like
clones.
me. I was going to fuck up the ecosystem as well.
because they're clones.
I was going to kill a
and
farmer
she's
in
a
the middle of
clone,
Indiana.
and therefore she has to let them live.
Wow. That's such an inspiring message, though, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, they are like us. All of us.
But the thing that I want to know is, you could have just done that story with, she was his granddaughter. She really liked animals.
No.
And it would have.
Sorry, you would have
worked
missed out on
more.
some of the great plot reveals, like, is a clone, they're like me. Like, there's a lot of material that you would have lost
Yeah.
in that reading. That sounds phenomenal. Maybe I will go and see it now, because
It is. It was a marvel. It was exactly what we went to see it for.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was 2.5 hours of
Total
drivel,
drivel.
but like quite enjoyable.
Here's
Quite
a little
fun.
segue for you, and I know it's not kosher to announce that you're doing one, but hell, I've done it anyway. 2.5. Just say that last thing you said again, and I'll do it naturally.
2.5 hours of drivel.
Oh, that reminds me, Declan. Not the 2.5 hours part, not the drivel, but spending time doing anything. What were we doing last night? Over to you. You're right.
Wow.
Seamless.
That was.
Seamless.
We went to go and see.
Yeah.
For me, the second time. For you, the third.
Oh no, at least the
8th.
30th. Like, genuinely, probably about the 20th time.
We went to go and see a comedian
Yes.
called Diane Chorley.
Yes.
Now explain Diane.
Hard to do so thanks for throwing that over to me. Diane Chorley is a fictional drag invention. A nightclub owner from the 70s and 80s from Essex. Where
Canvey
Declan's
Island.
From. Canvey Island specifically.
Not where I'm from.
No. Tell us why Canvey Island might be a setting. I don't
a
know anything
hellhole.
about it. Oh, a hellhole.
It is a hellhole.
Right. And Diane's character is this former nightclub owner who at some point kind of ascended into stardom briefly, and whose flame has since thoroughly been extinguished by the ravages of time and age. But the show that was on in Edinburgh, which I think it was either that one or the one before Diane had done, that Stuart Lee called like the best thing he'd seen that year, or something mental, which is the highest praise possible to
goodness.
attain by anyone. The show we saw, Rhythm of Life, was a fictional account of a whole album called The Rhythm of Life that Diane had put out with the excellently named Diane Chorley and the Buffet, which is a joke that keeps on giving. And it's just a series of mad, but in all of them, yeah, I think they're all brilliant songs. Like, they all
Yeah.
stand alone as great, great songs. And having talked to the person behind Dan for a bit, it turns out they used to be the frontman of a briefly very successful band
Oh, right.
that did like a world tour for a bit and then faded into obscurity, and I can't remember the name of them. But yeah, that was the premise for that one, and it's kind of
Men at Work.
interspersed. That's them.
She's Colin Hay.
Yeah, really weird. It's interspersed with stories in the kind of parody of when you do go and see these people who have kind of fallen off now. Who would be an example? I'm thinking like,
Colin Hay.
yeah, I suppose so, actually. Yeah, Colin Hay's solo show is a lot of him singing songs and then telling anecdotes and then being kind of wistful and Scottish about it all.
Yeah.
Great, great show. Go and see him. He's great live. But there's a more kind of potent tragedy which Colin Hay doesn't have, because he's very much at peace with where he is and he's kind of successful as a solo act. Whereas the thing Diane is parodying is those people who still basically think that their relevance has maintained the heights to which it once aspired, but who actually the world's kind of moved on from in a big way. And so there are all these mad stories about, like, when I was working with Herbert de Burgh in New York producing this record, The Rhythm of Life, and it goes on like that for a marvellous hour. She's at Edinburgh this year if anyone's going, so make sure to go and see. This show, however, was called Chatting with Chorley, and I followed Diane on Facebook, and my girlfriend works with her because she produces the Cabaret in Edinburgh. And so we'd heard that there was a show coming to the South Bank and that it was going to be a bit different from Diane's previous work. The idea was, as the name suggests, a kind of Graham Norton-esque chat show. Guests on a sofa, Diane on a chair, interspersed with a couple of songs, with, this time, the full buffet.
Previously, we'd only met Milky.
Yeah, Milky Bar Krista Berg, the guitarist, who is a kind of tracksuit wearing, like mid-length bleach blonde hair, big glasses
Yeah.
guitarist, mute as well. You must remember.
Very.
But this time they were joined by Pete Winch on drums.
Yeah.
Someone mad on guitar. I remember Kate. What was her name? Kate Chateau on piano.
Yeah.
On keys. And of course, Ron. Tell people about Ron.
Ron is Diane's lover.
That's fair to say, yeah.
Yeah.
She's been around the block, Diane.
But
She'll
she's
tell you about it, but she's settled down.
settled with Ron.
Yeah.
Ron is a besuited,
Yeah.
older gentleman.
Yeah, an
About
older giant man.
40, 50, something
Oh,
like
I'd say
that.
more like 50s, late 50s, I'd
50s,
say.
yeah. Bearded,
Yeah.
stern.
Yeah. Robust.
Yes.
Uh,
He's the look of a kind of slightly better dressed Brendan Gleeson sort of figure.
yeah, I can see that.
Gruff.
A kind of more of an innate hostility than I feel looking at Brendan Gleeson's face.
But a weakness there and a
At heart,
agility.
there's something you can really, there's a spark in his eyes.
And he is everything. He's like a Swiss Army lover,
Yeah. The best sort.
which I'm certain must be the name of a porn film somewhere.
Better have be.
He is bodyguard,
Yeah.
MC,
Oh, of course.
harmonicist.
Chief harmonicist.
Yeah.
Or harmonicist in chief, I think. is
Yes.
The title, yeah.
In cheese.
Yeah, in cheese, sorry. He's an enforcer,
He is
an announcer,
he's a guest,
a compere,
a performer.
a status.
He is a producer, showrunner.
He is a giant cockney criminal.
He's a friend.
Of course.
And he basically hovers about the stage for the entirety of this new production, doing whatever it is he sees fit,
But-
with a confidence
And a slow but decisive gait.
and certainty about it
Yeah.
that no one else could achieve.
Yeah. And I just don't know who he is outside of that character. I have a feeling he might be that person all
Yeah,
the
I
time.
think that's him.
Yeah. I mean, not in relationship to Diane.
No,
but
I think
just
so.
in his life. I think that must be just what he does. He just goes about sorting things out. He's
Yeah.
a fixer.
He is.
I'm not saying he's a killer, okay, if he's listening.
But if you needed it done, he would do it.
He'd be top of my list to call. And so the show began with an opening song, a kind of spiel and then an opening song, which is one I knew before. Duchess,
ESS,
The
The
Duchess.
Duchess.
Yeah, it's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a crowd pleaser. And then it sort of morphed slowly and
She's drunk her Chateau Neuf de Pape, but prefers her water from the tap.
Duchess. It's so fucking great. It morphed with a real uncertainty that was kind of electric. There was a bristling sense of no one really knowing, least of all the people on stage,
Least
was
of
going.
all, Diane.
Yeah, what was happening in the next moment. It sort of became this chat show setup with no discernible format or like semantic relationship to what you'd expect to be happening.
No questions.
None. Well, there were some on cards, but they were
no
just
answers.
discarded. No, none
Only
from
more
Helen Lederer.
questions.
Far more. And there were points at which, the first guest was someone called Helen Lederer. Give her a Google. She was in Ab Fab, absolutely
Yeah.
fabulous.
Most like Brits will recognise her from somewhere.
I
She'll have been
recognised
in
her,
somewhere.
but I have never seen any of the programs. she's been in.
Short, blonde, like kind of that kind of bleach blonde, but like dark eye makeup, mad blue eyes, sort of like absolutely
Very recognisable
insane.
voice as well.
Yes.
And she sort of sat down, and I would love to know what her sense of what to come at the time.
How
she
long
went.
had this been in prep?
What had she been told the show was? Because she was not prepared for any aspect of it.
The only
at
thing
all.
she was prepared for was to be drunk.
Oh yeah, so
on
that was
stage.
good. Yeah, and she was getting more drinks passed over by Ron as they went on, and sort of being asked every so often questions, but trying to kind of create an improv world that was at once baffling and also impossible to follow.
Yeah.
As another performer on stage, she was just creating scenarios that were so specific in some sense, but just totally vague in others.
so-
there was nothing to play off.
For example, like Diane would ask a question that might involve the name of someone who was similarly vaguely famous in the 70s
Tony
or 80s.
Slattery.
And Helen would sort of brush it aside with a semi-answer, but then be like, oh yeah, and where did we know him from, Diane? Because we met him at the same time, yeah?
At the waiting for a response. And it was just like, it was more putting people on the spot than being an active improv partner.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious because Diane handled it very well. There's a certain...
Very honestly.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. There's just a certain quality about that performance that is so assertive, even when she clearly has no sense of what's going on, as we said.
At all.
But it just manages to all hold together while everything else kind of collapses beautifully around it. What else happened? They brought out another guest called Scotty, who came out and immediately admonished the audience for clapping so little that it
homophobically
constituted
little,
a hate crime. This being Pride Month, and then it somehow turned into a kind of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Improvised song called the South Bank Blues.
Yeah,
I was very surprised by the quality of.
Yeah, it started like the worst hoedown you've ever
I
seen.
fucking love it. I was so excited for what was going to happen. And Helen, they were sort of lined up, and Diane did some pretty good improved song. Great voice, so it kind of helped sell it anyway. And then it passed on to Scotty, who chose to do a kind of very acceptable thing to do here, which was a talking in rhythm.
Like a sort of jazz.
Park life
song.
sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And that
I was talking to Diane and she said to me one day, she
Park life. That's how it goes.
said, South Bank.
And so that happened for a bit. And then it became clear to us as Scotty drew to an end that it was any moment going to be Helen's turn to do something. And I've never felt more alive than in the seconds before. Just every thought.
Absolute nuclear tension.
Just
in
like,
the room.
what's going to happen? She was such a loose cannon. And what did happen was a sort of dance, shouting, bizarre poetry amalgam that, I'll be honest, it sold. It
worked.
It worked, yeah. And then that wrapped up. It became kind of more normal. They abandoned the chat format altogether and just started doing some songs.
Yeah.
And all in all, it was great. It ended, as all good shows do, I think. My favourite production of Macbeth ends in the same way, where the audience were all invited on stage for a great big dance party.
Yeah.
For the final number of Macbeth.
Macduff's just swinging that head
It's
around.
so cool, isn't it? It's such a great... And they put like little glitter balls on it so it catches the light as it goes. It's really lovely. And we also...
Flayance is like going around trying to like mind sweep drinks
so
that people
funny.
have put down.
And that's a detail that you might not notice. Like, it's one of those punch drunk-esque things, depending where you're looking, there's more immersion going on. So we all had a nice dance on stage. I know Dan's got handed a Diet Coke.
Yep.
For no real reason. And that was it. But it got me thinking about, like, the amount of time that people put into projects that are just so
Hopeless,
shit.
woeful.
Whereas Diane had clearly put, at most, 6 minutes of thought into any aspect.
The only preparation had been emailing the people involved to say, are you free?
Want to come?
Yeah.
And one of them hadn't turned up. So even that had been
Had they
minimal.
not turned up, or did they just run out of time?
Who knows? Who knows anymore? I feel
That
like
was
they'd come
one
up
of my
for those.
favourite parts of it was, any well-rehearsed show, you just start and you go until it's done, and that fills up the time. Diane, no such temporal relevance. Asks at one point, how time check is like, you got 30 minutes left, right? We've got one guest out, 2 left. Okay, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Time check, you've got 5 minutes left. 5, right? Well, probably time for a song. Everyone, out
all
your
came
chairs,
down.
down you come.
And what were we singing? Which one was it? I can't remember.
It was
My mother said, Diane, don't give your love away.
Yeah.
It's a classic song. I'll try and link some Diane material because it is fucking great. It was so good. And what some very mistaken members of the audience came out thinking, not many, by judging by how energised everyone was on that lovely stage dance floor. But my girlfriend overheard someone in the bathrooms apologising to the person they brought with them, being like, so sorry, it's not normally like that. There's normally just like songs and stand-up. I just don't know what was going on there. And I hate that person so much.
What would you rather, an admittedly very, very good stand-up act that is rehearsed and well delivered and very, very funny, or an evening in which nothing is planned, and because of this, you end up hearing Helen Lederer's cocaine explosive diarrhea story from the horse's mouth
before just joining for a little dance.
Yeah.
I mean, what I don't get is like, if you found that first show funny, and it is brilliant, Rhythm of Life, and you like that style of comedy, I don't see how this was like the logical conclusion of it, because the whole thing is kind of riffed and it's supposed to have that throwaway, unplanned vibe, and this time it was for real. It was like a sort of beautiful, glittery car crash. It was great. Would recommend. Loved every minute of it even. We've had some emails, and I'm going to start,
We've had an awful lot
with,
of
well, should we start or end with our most recent one?
I think we should start. I don't want to end.
Do you want to get it out of the way? So this was only a matter of
You're not
hours
actually going
ago.
to read the whole thing, are
I'm
you?
going to give some extracts.
Okay.
We received an email. Declan actually notified me of it with the 6-line message, "What the fuck is this email?" Something like that. So I went on and had a look, dutifully. And here we have, sent via the website, "How to prevent prostate problems and diseases?" From someone called Albert Emero. Subject line as stated. I'm just going to read the first paragraph here. The prostate is central to the A part of a male's reproductive, : Now that's the punctuation : I'm wondering if they've done a little anatomy joke.
A joke.
It secretes fluids that assist the transportation and activation, which is a great term here, of sperm. The prostate gland is located just as you're watching Rectum. Thoughts on that?
When
when you're watching Rectum.
well, what I
There's nothing
both
on
like
E4.
and dislike about that phrase is it makes it sound like one of these sort of optical illusions, right? It's only there, or like some sort of island in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's only there if you're watching it. Like as soon as you turn away, it's gone.
Like the room of requirement, is that what the prostate is?
Yeah.
Below the bladder and surrounding the urethra. Now, I don't know a lot about biology, but that doesn't sound right to me that it's surrounding the urethra.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It surrounds it totally.
Yes, because it closes it off while you're erect.
Oh, okay.
So that when you
That's very clever, isn't it?
come, you don't piss.
Wow.
It's the long and the short of it.
When there is prostate problem, it is usually very uncomfortable and inconvenient for that patient, as his product is directly affected. His product. So that's
I'm
a
always
shame.
worried about my product.
But let me just count here. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's about 15 paragraphs of information about, the prostate, how to deal with it, how to live with one,
To tame it.
how to prevent prostate disease. It gives us some tips here. I'll give you them as well. Drink sufficient water. Some studies declare that a couple of ejaculations weekly will assist to prevent cancer.
That's
Eat
good.
red meat sparingly. Maintain an effective diet. And that's all for. And then it does say if you're above 40, you should go and have an examination at least once a year. So normally this kind of spam email, like, we're not new to the idea of spam and random unsolicited messages. Normally there's a clear vector, which is the classic is, "Oh, mate, your HSBC's all fucked. Click this www.jsbt.org to come and reset your pass."
Or, what's that? Your knob doesn't work.
Yep.
Here's something to help that.
It's a virus. You'll be so stressed it'll start working of its own accord.
You won't be able to stop.
So normally there's a very clear end goal. This one's just
It's just
purely
info.
informative.
And it came through the contact form.
Yeah, and that has a capture. So I can only imagine that someone has manually...
Copy and paste.
Someone has listened to this show and all their thoughts have been, those lads need some prostate advice.
Yep.
Better send that across.
Between us, we're over 40. So does that mean we have to get a check
half
once
a prostate exam.
every other year?
The idea of half a prostate exam is so upsetting because then it's just the recreational part.
It's all the invasion.
and none of the
For
tests.
50% of the accuracy. They only do the left-hand side Well, that side's fine, so you're probably all right.
But yeah, I guess, get it checked, guys. Get that finger inserted and your health will only improve, is what Albert's message is to all of us today.
Yeah.
We've had some more email, and I'm pleased to confirm all the rest of it suspiciously lacking in prostate.
Oh, thank God.
On Charity from Toby Milestones King, who will appreciate this being episode 90, I'm sure. He'll be wetting himself
Indeed.
with sheer glee. I will become a Patreon. Unless the prostate's...
Well, I'm thinking, like, if you are wetting yourself just because an email's being read out, that probably is
that's a
reason
sign.
to go for a check.
A check, maybe not just the prostate, that might be all kinds of other things. But we're
Yeah,
not
and if
qualified to
you do
advise.
get it done, get the whole check done.
Yeah,
not
not
just
the half one, because that was
the invasion, none of the results.
big mistake. I'll become, says Toby, a Patreon member if, number one, you stop doing would you rather questions like a pair of mad Samuel Beckett characters. 2, Isaac never mentions his fucking psychopathic bread cube nonsense ever a fucking again.
Toby, thank you for your support on that matter.
Well, Toby, look, I'm happy as...
Are those all the conditions?
Yeah, there's only 2.
Okay, right.
So we're going to get him on board? Are we going to stop Would You Rather and I'll never mention cube bread? I feel like
we could do it in stages. We stop bread cubes. That's now.
my integrity demands that I
stop
evangelise about the one true bread form.
You only mentioned it on episode, 89?
Yeah, because I assumed it was common knowledge.
Right, 89. So in another 89 episodes, you can bring it up again.
Okay, that's fair. I'm going to set a reminder.
Right.
We've also had an email from Kevin Wilson. This was a couple of weeks ago. Specifically one. Specifically one and a half
weeks
now
ago.
that I check. OMG! Exclamation mark is the subject line. And that is the kind of positivity Xanadu 22 that I appreciate. Not any of your made up nightmarish freak bullshit. Gents, as if I didn't already love you guys already, the fact you referenced the movie Airplane in the latest episode moved you up to near heroes in my book. One of my all-time favourite movies. Cheerio, Kevin from Canada.
What film do you think we have to mention to reach hero tier?
I'm pretty sure it was Jurassic World, so congrats.
Jurassic World,
Fallen Kingdom's done it.
Wow!
Well done us.
Airplane is a phenomenal movie.
It's the best comedy ever, surely. Bless Me from Noah. On episode 89, you all were talking about how it's inappropriate to bless yourself following a sneeze. I did this when I was around age 10, riding in the car with my grandma. That was me spitting that, because that's just my natural flow. And she called me out on it. I retorted with, what if nobody else blesses me, though? And she said, well, then they weren't raised with beer. She meant manners, but nonetheless, this is a defining memory I have of her. What's going on there?
No, I'd like to know if you are sure that she did mean manners rather than
Because I'm
beer.
sure she didn't.
And if so, how?
Was she drinking at the time?
If not, why are you so certain that is that a story you've told yourself?
What Declan's saying is there was a lot of assumptions made by you and also by us reading it, and I don't think those necessarily align.
No.
But thank you to everyone who got in touch nonetheless.
Not everyone.
What? Who you're not thanking?
The prostate man.
Well, no, look, he's just spreading the good news.
It wasn't the good news. It wasn't good news.
It's
He
the
said
good
it's
news.
just after you're watching the rectum.
Yeah, I know, but he didn't mean that, did he?
Made it sound like the directions to Neverland. Third
Second
rectum to
star
the
on
left
the
and straight up till prostate.
Oh, that's a shame. I think it was translated. It sounds like it was kind of Google translated, and maybe this is a guy who received an email, and maybe that original one was a kind of scam for some like backyard medical freak who actually just wants to get all up in you and pretend it's a check. But Alberto, being the conscientious global citizen he is, he's translated it into every language he can find.
He's
and now
like-
he's trawling the web to
He's like,
send this out.
this lunatic has taken advantage of a good cause. Let's redress the balance.
Righting the wrong of the karmic universe. And we can only thank him for that.
Not only,
You'll
but we
remember,
can thank him
Next time
for
you
that.
get a
You're right.
checkup, Alberto will pop into your head just as the doctor pops into the other end. Now, if you, like Alberto, like Noah, like Kevin, like Xanadu22 and Toby before you, would like to get in touch with the show, there are all manner of ways to do so, aren't there? We've just prepared a real gamut of treats, communicative as they are. Declan, which would you say is your favourite?
My favourite, I love a tweet.
Do you?
love a tweet.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
There's a personal factor involved.
Because it pops up straight on the phone, doesn't it? And
It
that's
does.
lovely.
Well, no, because for me, I don't have the old Twitter notifications turned on.
Why is that then?
I don't like getting them.
Oh.
I don't like getting them pop up. Although actually, for some reason, I think my Twitter kind of had a bit of a sulk about this and decided not to give me any at all.
Good.
Even when I'm on the app.
That's what I'd have done.
So I haven't had any
Ever.
for 3 straight days.
Oh.
I hadn't had any, and I was like,
Everything's kind of died down.
I'm not offended. Just, and then I went on Twitter on the laptop earlier, and I had 34 notifications.
Oh, that's
but no, it's a nice personal element to it. We can respond directly there.
and immediately.
Yeah, we get to see your lovely faces.
That's
in most
always a
instances.
treat.
Yes. So Twitter, you can find the show at That's a Shamecast, or you can find myself at Cynical Declan. You can find Isaac at IsaacBD.
That's very true.
Alternatively, should you have any questions, queries, an ultimatum, perhaps you've got a suggestion, perhaps you've got some medical advice
About a different gland or organ. Yeah.
susceptible to disease and illness, just
As all
like
of
the
them
others.
are.
Maybe yours is omnisexual
Okay, fair enough.
rather than
You want to broaden the horizons. Yeah.
exactly.
You don't want to become pigeonholed as a purely prostate advice-based show.
That is, in fact, the last thing.
It's really
That I
low
would
on my
like.
list. Like I'd have to exhaust so many podcasting options before we started. That's a prost.
That's a prost. Okay, we'll just park that.
Put a pin in it for now.
So, should you have any of these, or indeed any other reason that you've discovered for getting in touch, you can find your way into our inboxes, into Isaac's dreams.
Yeah, quite
Xanadu
directly.
22ing your way straight into his sleepless night. At tass@shame.city.
Now, Tass, that's
No,
TASSS?
You've got it wrong, you see.
Stop.
Because think about it.
Go on.
What do you think TASS stands for?
The T is probably the, because if you ever guess a T, it's the.
No, it's not the.
This,
No.
that,
Think about. Go on.
that,
Keep going.
uh,
That. What can come after that?
Anne, that's Anne.
That's not Anne. That's
No, I'm like hard words.
You were close there.
That's
You
a show, because it's our show email.
so close
Yeah.
again. So close again. That's a shame. So TAS.
That's one interpretation.
TAS@shame.city.
Because I made that email address and I was thinking very different things.
You could alternatively go to the website and find us via the contact form. That would be shame.city/contact.
Where I'll be upgrading our defences against automated prostate spam.
We'll be putting in a character limit for sure.
I'm going to just write something that scans for the word prostate and automatically burns your computer if you try and send us anything.
While you're there, check out the artwork that
Have a
Isaac
check.
makes dutifully for every single episode.
Sure
There'll
do.
be at least 90 of them.
That's mad. There are definitely more.
Yeah, although to be fair, for Block Switch we have
It
3
was
of the
all
same.
yeah. That was a low point in my artistic
Cop out.
career. Yeah.
And also make sure to visit shame.city/review or reviews and leave us a nice, glittering, sparkly, shining 5-star review.
It'll make you feel good. It'll make us feel better. And isn't that what love's all about?
That's what it's all about.
Until then, that's it, isn't it?
No, it's not.
What the fuck else is there?
Sake.
Come on then. Out with it.
Look, if unlike Xanadu 22, you're happy to give and you are in a position to give, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/shamecity. And as ever, make sure, like Supercomps, Noah and Emily, to wommy-bomb the fuck out of the show.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is best of mouth.
So spread the good news like Jesus before you. The Patreon, if you're there already, expect an email from us in the next week or so we'll probably do a little survey, will we, about rewards and tiers and things. We'll get on that in a big way. Until then, though, guys, with only, 9 episodes between now and our big milestone, which makes me feel sick to the back teeth in a good way. I've been Isaac. You've been.
I've been Declan.
Keep those bread cubes of forming. See you next time.
You bastard!
necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you.